That live was supposed to be like 35 minutes. Only 16 minutes actually loaded when I looked at it after it processed. So over half of that video was not even loaded onto YouTube. You want to know why? Because I was spitting hot fire. I was spitting gems. And I talked about how, um, you know, the I started talking about towards the end about how I was harassed yesterday by a corrupt police chief, a police officer, and a police chief. And I was like, something to the effect of, if I could bet money, which I'm not a gambling woman, that he is a Mason. Right? And I was like, talking about how the Queen of Hawaii had actually, stated in her book that her relative, who was the last king before she actually took the throne, when he died, the Masons actually did a funeral ceremony, part of the funeral ceremony for him specifically. And when they did that, I was like, Spirit showed me that they did a curse over his body, and that curse that they did over his body had already doomed her throne and her coming into the throne. Okay. And what I was stating is, my question is, at which I was like, I'm very inquisitive, I got all the good questions, is that if Masons, right, are always linked to and have always been very close, in close proximity to the royal families, why weren't, and as connected and as powerful as Masons are, why is it that they did not help her and step in, the Hawaiian Queen, Liliuokalani? Why did that they not, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing, why did they not, the Masons, why didn't they step in and help her out? If they're so powerful and they, have all these connections, why was it when these, corporate interest and like Dole and these other corporations that were on Hawaiian land, why didn't these Masons step up when these missionaries and these corporate, business owners annex and overthrow the queendom? Where are they at? Why weren't they assisting? Why didn't they help, basically blockade her, or, you know, secure her to where she wouldn't have had that happen? Right? So knowing that they have been in close proximity to royal families, I'm talking about the real royals, it is looking like they are enemies of indigenous all over the world, because they have been, as well as the Moors, they have been close to the real indigenous, aboriginal, autochthonous royal families. But yet, look at what we're dealing with all over the world. So they can't be our allies. It just, I mean, where are they indigenous, aboriginal, autochthonous, original bloodlines on the land's allies? And if they are, how, with them being so connected, how are they allowing, with such alleged strength, foreign occupation on indigenous, aboriginal, autochthonous land. Okay, so it's looking like Moors, Hebrew Israelites, even though Hebrew Israelites attempt to state that they are part of the 13 tribes, but they are a legal corporation under an LLC, to my knowledge, as well as these Masons, right? I'm not saying that they are LLC. What I'm saying is that, you know, these seem to be the melanated beings that are in cahoots with some Caucasians, not all. The Moors have the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. The Masons have both Caucasians and all kinds. Actually, they are multicultural, right? So you telling me with all their reach and all the occultism, aka magic that they know, they haven't been able to secure and safeguard the indigenous, aboriginal, autochthonous thrones, land, resources? Is the shit just ain't adding up? The math ain't mathing to me. It's just not mathing. You know, Steve Coakley already told us about the boule. You know, but that's part of the video. That like damn near half the video, over half the video was cut, and it was when I was talking about, you know, the Queen's actual words in her book, right? And how it was related to what we're dealing with now. I talked about how the wealth transfer has nothing to do with reparations, and how it has everything to do with original heirs and witnesses that are indigenous, aboriginal, autochthonous all over the world, getting what was stolen from them, getting what was rightfully theirs, what has been pirated from the original beings. The wealth transfer is because these things were supposed to be generationally already theirs, already ours. Theirs as in the indigenous aboriginals, ours as in the indigenous aboriginal autochthonous. Right? The melanated beings that were all over this planet. The melanated Chinese, melanated Japanese, the melanated Europeans, the melanated indigenous Americans, autochthonous aboriginal Americans. It's like every landmass, they have brought an imposter to try to take over the identity. I didn't say that in the other video, but I'm saying it now. You know, they say the true Japanese, the real Japanese are melanated with afros and live up in the mountains, because they're pretty much attempting to do what they're attempting to do with the Native Americans. I don't even like to say Native Americans, because they're not truly Americans. The natives that came through the Siberian Strait, that actually, if their background is traced back, it's Siberian. And some Russian. But they try to do this like mixaroo of all these identities and muddy the waters and confuse people. But this is the age of enlightenment, and all that confusion is nothing but, we already know who's the author of confusion. That's how you know who's rolling with the truth and the light. because we are weeding through all these lies and coming to the motherfucking truth. Confirmation. I know y'all that notification I just got. Anyways, so I don't even know all of what I had stated in that video. I just wanted to come and let y'all know how much of the video they cut because of the stuff that I was speaking about. Oh, there was another part where I had held up a piece of, it's like a light brown piece um of, I don't want to say wood or whatever, but it was like a little bit thicker than this, and it had like this like little hook, and I was like, this is an ancient symbol. That ancient symbol was actually within their spell work, and they cut that part out when I was talking about that, because it's like, it almost looks like a 7, but it's not sharp edge 7. It's like a rounded, it's like kind of more like a hook. Oh, but it doesn't look like a hook. Like it's not like that. It's more like a little bit rounded like that, but it's, let me see. Kind of like that, but it less bent. Anyways, you know what? Hold on. Let me see if I could just draw it really quick. Let me get my pen. I gotta get a paper that has something on it. Just, I'm like, I'm gonna get a napkin. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'll draw it on the napkin. So this is an ancient symbol, and they had like a piece of nature that looked just like it, and I don't. Okay, and I want to say that it's Hebrew, or it's one of the older ancient languages. I don't know if it's showing up backwards on there, but it's yeah, it's backwards. Okay, let me try to do it the other way then, so y'all can see it correctly. It's one of the older languages. And it's said to have it's also, it's like a 7, but it's not quite sharp, like, you know, like my 7s are sharp. My 7 is, I put the line through it and everything, but this is like a rounded, it's like a rounded 7. Anyways, they say it's like a celestial language, and so this one, I think it would be 1 2, it's like probably like 4. It would be, the ancient symbol is probably like, I think 4 stars together or something like that. There was a horn that honked in the background. I'm thinking, if I remember right, it was like 4 stars that make that one, but the shape is like a hook, like not all the way like hook, because to me a hook would be more rounded, right? More perfectly round, like the bottom one where my thumb is. Okay, it's not like let me just draw it in a little bit better. So the bottom one would be the hook. Let me hold it. The bottom one would be more of a hook. Or if let's turn it this way. A hook. Like if we just put that little thing at the end that catches the fish, right? That's a hook. All right. So anyways, yeah, so I was talking about that. I was talking about so many things, and they cut they cut the video short. So anyways, 5:05 when I looked at the timestamp. I'm going to end this video. If you need anything else from me, oh, they cut out my outro too. So I don't know, that was kind of odd. Anyways, you can hit up my Cash App, PayPal, or buy me a coffee, and newly Venmo. I have 3 websites: my fine art print on demand and Tigre's print on demand, as well as my activity ebook that I authored, illustrated, self-published, that is technologically advanced, interactive, first of its kind, going down in our story. Um, yeah. So if financial means do not allow for you to actually support in those ways, you can always, for free, $3.99, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can be alerted whenever I have a new video going up. And as always, you can hype it up. I hype me up. I don't got 99 problems, but I do got 100 reasons. Okay? I got 100 reasons of why I won't make an excuse and why I'm going to get this shit done. I'm going to get it done because I'm a solution-oriented individual and I don't allow other people to have excuses. So, baby, I ain't got no excuses either. Okay? I execute. I execute everything that I choose to do. Okay? So, with that being said, I'm out. Peace.